Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, January 2nd, 2023. Good morning. I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with injury news regarding Kevin Owens. Owens required stitches following his tag team match main event with John Cena against Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn on last Friday night's SmackDown, according to a Fightful Select report. Owens appeared to suffer a laceration above his eye after taking a stiff clothesline from Reigns early in the match. The Fightful report speculates that the stiff shot may have been in retaliation for the hard slap Owens delivered to Reigns' face during the War Games match at Survivor Series in November. In ticket sales news, NXT's next premium live event, Vengeance Day, set to take place Saturday, February 4th at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, had a total of 2,972 tickets distributed as of yesterday, according to WrestleTix. At the time of the report, 1,593 tickets remained available in the 4,565-seat capacity setup for the Spectrum Center. In Lucha Libre news, on his podcast this week, Konnan addressed the recent absence of Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara from AAA's Night of Champions event last Wednesday, where they had been scheduled to defend the AAA Mixed Tag Team title, but were instead stripped of the championship when they worked AEW Dynamite instead. Konnan claimed that it was Tony Khan who prevented Mello and Guevara from making their scheduled AAA appearance. Konnan, who is AAA's head of talent relations, also addressed past difficulties booking the duo during their time as champions, partly due to travel issues and visa issues for Mello in particular. In news from Japan, All Japan Pro Wrestling ran their first show of 2023 inside Tokyo's Korakuen Hall today. The main event featured a 22-man New Year's Battle Royal, which was won by Takuya Nomura. Title matches on the show saw Nomura and Kento Miyahara win the All Japan World Tag Team title from Suwama and Kono, and Itsuki Aoyagi made the third defense of the All Japan World Junior Heavyweight title, defeating Hikaru Sato. In MLW news, Mads Kruger, also known on the independent circuit as Logan Creed, is officially no longer under contract to MLW, according to PW Insider, with the conclusion yesterday of a non-exclusive working agreement that stretched back to his MLW debut in October of 2018. Both sides had come to terms on the release several months ago. Kruger had not wrestled for MLW since last September, when he lost to Mance Warner in a tables match on MLW Fusion from Norcross, Georgia. And in some unfortunate news, Emmanuel Manoli Savinas, known in the ring as the Flying Greek Mike Pappas, passed away late Saturday night, as was first reported by his family yesterday afternoon on Facebook. The compact and agile journeyman wrestler was known for his aerial tactics and best remembered as a regular on the WWF circuit in the early to mid-1970s. He also wrestled for promoter Eddie Graham in Florida in the mid-70s, as well as in St. Louis, Southeastern Championship Wrestling, and Leroy McGurk's Tri-State Wrestling. Born on the Greek island of Rhodes in 1941, he broke into the business in 1968, and he got his working papers thanks in part to Southern promoter and fellow Greek Nick Goulas, for whom he also worked extensively, according to his obituary at Slam Wrestling. Pappas briefly held a version of the World Light Heavyweight title in Goulas's promotion, and although his career was not highlighted by other title wins, he did have several other claims to fame, including facing an up-and-coming Ric Flair on Wrestling at the Chase in 1978, beating a rookie Randy Savage, then working under a mask in Florida as the Spider, and challenging Harley Race for the Missouri Heavyweight title. He finished out his career in 1978, returning to his original vocation as a jeweler for the rest of his working life. Pappas was the subject of a documentary, The Flying Greek, released in 2021. His family announced back in October that he was battling stage 4 colorectal cancer, the disease that eventually claimed his life. Mike Pappas was 81 years of age. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News Podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.